Welcome all of you. It is the eighth part of that Newton's laws of motion, and we shall move for that class number 3 of that strings and pulleys problems. Before that, we guys will have that quick recapitulation of that previous things. So in that previous class, I have told you if this kind of the problem we are getting. Mass M1, M2 and M3 are arranged in this way. Here is only one string which is moving on this pulley, and it is massless and frictionless. Here is another string, and here is a different string present here. So it was given to us that our mass M1, M2 and M3 will be given in our problem, and pulley is massless and frictionless. Pulley is that massless and frictionless. Mass M3 is accelerating downward. So it was given in that problem, and the problem was saying to us to find the accelerations and tensions. So look, student, I have told to you that suppose it is going to move that x1 distance, it is accelerating, so it is moving that s1 distance. So it is also going to, suppose this one will move that x2 distance in that downward direction, so obviously this is going to move some, say, x3 distance in that upside. So that our x1 will be equal to x2 will be equal to x3. Isn't it, student? The same distance they are going to travel. If the strings are different, still we will look that their distances traveled by the masses will be same for particular time. So that distances are same. So when will we differentiate with it with respect to the time? So that differentiation of that distance with time is nothing but the change in that distance divided by change in time. That will give us velocity. So velocity v1, v2, v3 will also come equal to v. Suppose we are saying that x1 is equal to x2 is equals to x3, isn't same distance they are going to travel. So we are saying they are traveling the same distance, which is equal to x. Some equal to x, and the velocities will also come same. And when again we will differentiate is the change in velocity divided with respect to the time we are changing. So change in velocity upon change in time will give us what? Acceleration. Now after that, what have we done? We had made the free body diagram, and the free body diagram, that force due to the gravity for M1 will act in that downward direction, tension T1 will act in that upward direction. It is accelerating upward since it is coming downward. So upside we are taking as positive, so T1 minus M1g will be equal to what? Mass times of the acceleration, Newton's second law. And in the same way for mass M2, it was accelerating downward. Force due to the gravity was acting here, and tension T2 was present because of this string. A T2 tension will act in the downward direction since from the other end of that mass one more string is attached from the mass M2. So T2 will act in the downward direction, T1 will act in the upside, and it is accelerating downward. Look, student, since we are talking about the same string and pulley is massless. So when the pulley is massless, so tension in the same string will be same. Okay, when the pulley is massless, so tension in the same string will be same. So it was moving downward, so of course this T2 plus M2g minus T1 will give us what? Mass times of the acceleration of the body. Okay, Newton's second law we will apply there. It is accelerating downward, and 3g is acting force due to the gravity. Tension T2 will act in that upward direction. Okay, our object of interest has changed now. Here M2 was there, string was in that downward direction, so it will have that pulling effect, so downward. M3 was there, string is upside, so it will have that pulling effect. Okay, so in that way we will think, and when will we apply Newton's second law here? M3g minus T2 will give us what? M3 times A. So solving these three equations, we guys were getting what? Acceleration was coming equal to m2 plus m3 minus of m1 times g divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. What can you do, student? 1 plus 2 plus 3. What it is going to give you? 1 plus 2 plus 3. So m1g, m2g, m3g, m2, m3 are positive. M1 is negative. G you will take as your common. This T1, T2 will get cancelled out. T2 is positive here. Here is negative. T1 is positive, negative here. T1 is positive here. They will get cancelled out. On the right hand side, we will take as our A as a common. So m1 plus m2 plus m3 will set to the other side. Expression of acceleration we will get. And when will we put the value of A in that equation first? T1 we will get equals to what? Twice of m1 times m2 plus m3 times g divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. And T2 was coming equal to what, student? Twice of m1 plus m3 times g divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. And look, student, what will be the tension in that string T3? For that we will draw the FBD of string and pulley. And when we will draw that pulley, FBD of pulley, that T3 will act in that upside pulling effect, and T1 will act in the downward direction since it will have the pulling effect. So T3 will be what? Twice of that T1, and twice of T1 multiplied by 2, so it will become 4 times the M1, M2 plus M3 times G divided by M1 plus M2 plus M3. Okay? And then after I was talking to you, students, that pulley with mass MP we are saying. That we will call as our student Atwood machine. Okay? So Atwood was that scientist who has told about this. He arranged a machine. Machine I am writing like it. Okay? So he arranged a machine like it. So this kind of the machine will be called as our Atwood machine. A pulley arrangement with two masses will be called as our Atwood machine. And here he has told that if suppose that mass of the pulley is present. Okay, here we were considering massless. So here we are saying that pulley has certain mass. So we guys will look, student, that when we are considering the mass of the pulley, so tension in that same string, at different ends will be different. Tension in the same string at different ends where the different masses are attached, so that will be different. Okay, you will notice why it is different, because of the mass of the pulley. Since we have considered the mass of the pulley is that equals to 0, so no force is going to act on this. That's why we will say that whatever the tension T1 will act at this end, the same tension will act on this end as well. But when we are considering the mass of the pulley, we will say that tension at the different ends will be different. First thing which you guys will keep in your mind, that if suppose we are considering that mass of the pulley, so the tension T1 and T2 will be different at the different ends. So we will draw the free body diagram here, that mass of force due to the gravity M1G will act in the downward direction, T1 will act in that upside accelerating downward. So first equation we will get like it. Second equation, that from the FBD of 2, it is accelerating. Of course here we are saying that mass M1 is greater than M2, so it is accelerating downward. You can make M2 as well. If M2 will be more than M1, so it will accelerate. This will accelerate downward. It will go up. Right. M1 is greater, so it will go down and it will move up. Okay. So that FBD of 2 was saying to us that T2 minus M2G was equals to what? M2 times A. I think you guys, if you have that connected with my video, so these things will become now applicable from your side. You guys will become that it will get started to come in your mind how to write the equations and how to draw the FBD diagram. That's why I am not discussing in detail that. Okay, I have given you so much of the words and thinking about this, how to draw the FBD diagram and how to write the equations. Okay. Next we shall look, student, these two equations. Due to that due to the rotation, since we are considering the mass of the pulley, so due to the rotation, when any body will rotate, okay, it will have some angular acceleration. It will rotate, it will have that some angular there. A body is rotating, so that theta is there. So due to the theta, it is what? Theta, angular displacement, circular motion you can say. It will displace by an angle. So that circular displacement, when you will that differentiate circular displacement, angular velocity will come, and when that you will differentiate angular velocity, angular acceleration will come. So due to the rotation of the pulley, it will have certain that angular acceleration, and that torque will act on this. Okay. While are you that pushing or pulling that a door, opening or that closing the door, so what force will act there? That force we call as our torque. The kind of that movement will take place in that, and that torque will be equal to what, student? Force into perpendicular distance. I have told you this will be what? Cross product. This will be cross product. But since we had assumed that our sin 90 was 0, sin 90 was 0, so this we had said that it will be T1 minus T2 times R. Okay, it will be the cross product of that forces acting on that body, multiplied by what? Displacement. Okay, or distance you can say. So that cross product, if suppose at any time T1 and T2 is acting in this direction, R is in this direction, so a 90 degree will act. And I have told you what is cross product. Cross product is nothing but the that sin theta. When you will that remove that cross product, we will study in that vectors. So that will give us what? Sin theta. So sin 90 will become 1. So we will get the expression of torque is equals to that T1 minus T2 times R. Okay. For the time you can that think in your mind. If this is not coming right now in your mind, so it's don't worry about that. Don't bother about that, because it will become clear when will we move for that rotational motion, when we will study that circular motion. So if these points for the time it is not coming in your mind, so you can only listen it and can think in your mind that I am saying right, I am not wrong right now. It is there, you will look. You can check as well. So that torque will act, so that will be T1 minus T2 times the R. And torque for the rotational motion, we will get that this torque should be equals to what? I alpha. Where I was what, student? Moment of inertia. I was what? Moment of inertia. We will abbreviate that MOI. Moment of inertia. And moment of inertia for a disc circular lamina, that will be half times the mass multiplied by radius square. So mass of the pulley we have assumed as our MP. So that MP times the R square, this will become what? Moment of inertia. Alpha I have told you, student, whatever that angular acceleration will be there, that will be equal to what? Linear acceleration divided by radius. We will look now when we will study that circular motion. So that angular acceleration will be equal to what? Linear acceleration divided by radius. So this R will get cancelled out, and R will get cancelled out, and when will we equate these two equations? So 1 R will get cancelled out with this R. Out over that left side are equal, so we can make the left hand side equal. So this R will get cancelled out, and this T1 minus T2 will give us what? Half times the mass of the pulley multiplied by linear acceleration. And using these 1, 2, 3 equations, what will we get? Acceleration we will get, that will come out m1 minus m2 times g divided by m1 plus m2 plus mass of the pulley divided by 2. And when will we put this a in this equation, T1 we will get what? M1 times twice of m2 plus mp, mass of pulley, divided by 2 times g divided by m1 plus m2 plus that mass of the pulley divided by 2. And for T2, of course, you can put the value of A in that second equation and can get the value of T2. If you have calculated T1, so you can think that at the place of M1 we should write that M2, and at the place of M2 we should write M1, and the expression of that T2 we will get in that way. Okay. So it was the quick recapitulation of all the things. Now we shall move for that more problems of it. You can have the screenshot up to here. And if I am giving you recapitulation, student, and if you are thinking that something is not visible, go to that pixel 480. I have fixed my pixel 480. So at that you can set your pixel while I am that giving you that recapitulation. Then after, if you are that moving for that 360 will be that visible to you, and 240 you can also choose that will get blurred, but you can do anything. I think for the recapitulation, if you are not able to look anything, go to the 480 pixel. It will become visible. I think the previous video was not that much, recapitulation was not that much visible, but now when I was saying you that you can have the screenshot, at that time it was very visible. So you can choose the 480 at that time and can have the screenshot and write the things. Today is it visible? So students, one thing you guys will note down, that if we are considering the mass of the pulley, then tension in same string will be different at the different ends of the string where the blocks of different masses are connected. Whereas if we are assuming the massless pulley, then the tension in the same string will be same at the different ends where the blocks of different masses are connected. Okay. So why is it happening, students? Suppose we are assuming a pulley here of radius r. It is having the radius r, and what was the torque acting on that pulley at any time? Look, student, that will be the cross product of force, that is T1 minus T2 force is acting at any particular instant. We can say T1 minus T2 is acting, cross product of force and distance. And what is the distance present here? That is r, radius of the pulley. And student, when you will remove the cross, you will get what? Sine theta. You will introduce a sine theta here. These things we will study in that vector chapter. For the time you can remember this. So sine theta will be introduced when we are that removing the cross. And of course, student, what is the theta present here? Theta is our 90 degree. Theta is 90 degree. So theta is 90 degree. The meaning is that T1 minus T2 is r sine 90. We guys will put, and that will give us what? T1 minus T2 times r, since this sine 90 will be equals to 1 only, isn't? You guys will be known that from trigonometry. So suppose we are assuming this our equation number 1, and student, that I have told you that this tau should be equals to what? I times the angular acceleration. That pulley is that rotating. So when it is rotating, it will have that certain angular acceleration, and that rotational motion will tell us this torque, whatever torque is producing. Why the torque is producing? Because of that rotation. That while are you that closing or that opening a door, so kind of that force you are applying, and that force times that distance will give you what? Torque. Okay. So that torque will be produced when that body will rotate. These things we will study in that rotational motion. So this torque should be equals to what? I alpha. So this I, you guys will be aware, I have told you, I was what? Moment of inertia. That you will call as your moment of inertia only. And for circular disc, it is the I is your what? Half times the mass of that circular disc times the radius square. Isn't it, student? So when you will put it in the torque, it will come out what? 1 by 2 mass times this P and this R square. And suppose I am not converting the alpha here, you can convert the angular acceleration, and it is representing angular acceleration. So angular acceleration should be, I can convert as linear acceleration divided by radius. This R will get cancelled out. Suppose we are saying this as our equation number 2 here. Okay, student. So for massless pulley, student, that our M will be equals to MP, mass of the pulley will be equals to 0. So from equation 2, that our torque will tau will become equals to 0, torque will become equals to 0. So from equation 1, what can we say? Torque is 0, so tau is 0, so that will be equals to what? T1 minus T2 times r. So either T1 minus T2 should be equals to 0 or radius should be equals to 0. Radius of the pulley can't be equals to 0. So we will say that our T1 minus T2 is equals to 0, and we will get what? T1 is equals to T2. T1 is equals to T2. Okay. So when are we considering the massless? Massless pulley? So that tensions in the same string will be same at the different ends. Where are you connecting the different masses? And in the same way that if you are considering the mass of the pulley, then tension in the same string will be different. At the different ends. Okay. So it is the note which you will keep in your mind or in your pocket as well. Right up to you. So now move for another problem, which has the situation like it, that one surface is flat, another surface is inclined. Is the next example of that example in which we guys had the perpendicular surface. Okay, so the next of that is this, you can say, and in this an inclined surface is present which have the angle theta, and suppose a pulley is present here which is massless, frictionless and fixed, and suppose a block of mass m1 is present on that horizontal surface, and a block of mass m2 is present on this inclined surface. So it is a kind of problem which has given to us, So in such kind of a problem, you guys will look that what will be given to us, that will be that masses of the blocks, which can you say that is m1 and m2. It will be given to us. That second thing which can they say that surface is massless, not massless, I'm sorry, surface is frictionless. Okay, surface will be that frictionless. Next thing they can say to you that pulley is massless, frictionless, massless, frictionless and fixed. Okay, they will say to you it is fixed. Whereas now when will we move for that more problems, we guys will look that now our pulley can that move as well. Okay, so these things will be given to us, and the next thing they can say to you, that is, suppose that block 2 is accelerating downward. Block 2 is accelerating downward. Okay. Next time they can say to you that string is massless, no mass of the string we are assuming, massless and inextensible. And inextensible, what is the meaning of inextensible, students? The meaning is that it is not stretching, it is not elastic, the length of this string will remain constant. Here is only one string, there can be 2, 3, 4 strings as well. So these things will be given to us, and the problem will say to us to find the acceleration, find the accelerations and tensions acceleration of blocks you will say, and tension in this string. Okay, so such kind of that problem will be given to us. So you can note down this problem first. So I hope that you guys have understood that what is the problem is saying to us. So our first task should be, student, that we will say, suppose this mass is accelerating downward, it is okay. So this mass will accelerate in the positive x direction on the horizontal surface. Suppose we are saying that is our A1 and A2 for the time, and if it is moving a distance of that x1, if it is moving a distance x1, small x1 I am writing, so this block obviously it is going to move, this block is also going to move, suppose some distance which is equal to small x2 we are denoting, okay, small x2. Okay, and it is accelerating, it will accelerate in that positive x direction as well. Look, student, there are various way of that saying that it is moving that x1 distance. I will talk about this for the time, that if this one is moving x1 distance, this one is moving x2 distance. So of course, student, if we are talking that string is inextensible, you can write this since string is inextensible. Okay, since we are talking about this inextensible string, and here is only one string present, and the length of that is not going to change. So of course, what is, student, this x1 will be equal to what? X2. So that what can we think to differentiate it with respect to the time? So dx1 upon del t will give us what? Del x2 upon del t. I have told you about this. Del will represent change with respect to the time we are doing. So change in distance upon change in time, what it will give us? Velocity. So that v1 should be equals to what? v2. Meaning is that velocities of the blocks will be also same. And when again you will differentiate these velocities, students. Okay, so del v1 is equals to del v2 with respect to the time. So what you guys will find that what change, there is change in velocity upon change in time, which will give us what? Acceleration, student. So a1 will be equals to what, student? a2, isn't? And v1 is equals to v2 and x1 will be also equals to x2. I will tell you today one more thing of saying these things. Okay, because we are moving gradually. Okay, when will we like move, the things will start coming. My task is to you should be able to apply the things to which I want to make you understand. Then only we can move for that the complicated problems. Okay, so gradually we will move. Okay, so suppose we are saying this is x1 is equals to x2 is something equals to x and it is v1 equals to v2, so that we are saying something they are equal, so they are equal to v something. Okay, and a1 and a2 are same, so we can say that they are something equals to a. So that's why we will not write a1 and a2 here. We will write a only here. Getting it, student? And student, one more thing you guys will note. Atwood machine, I have told you that Atwood machine was considering that if we are considering the mass of the pulley, so the tension in the same string at the different ends will be different. But if we are assuming the massless pulley, so torque force on acting on that torque will become equals to 0 and tension T1 will come out equals to T2. So of course, student, whatever tension T is going to act here, whatever tension going to act here, T, the same tension here it will act. Okay, and it will have the pulling effect. For mass M1, it will have that what? It will be along this string. So where is the string? Here. And pulling effect. It will be along this string and it will have that pulling effect. Don't think that it is no tension will come here. No string is present there. No one will do like that. Okay. So these things you guys will keep in your mind. You can write up to here, I think, and understand the things which I want to say to you. So such kind of the situation we are getting, we have come to know. So if you are looking at FBD of that mass M1, that FBD of block 1, when will we look, student? First we shall look that vector sum of all the external forces. Vector sum of all the external forces acting on the body in x direction. Okay, we are assuming x direction should be equals to what, student? Mass is m1, mass times the acceleration. Okay, acceleration in x direction. Acceleration in x direction. So what are the forces, external forces which are acting on that mass m1? Look into this. n1 in x direction we are talking. So n1 m1g. So upside you can say as your positive. So that n1 will become positive. So n1 m1g will become negative minus m1g. Is there any acceleration present in that x direction, student? In x direction, any acceleration is there? no acceleration is there. This will become equals to 0. You guys will say that since acceleration in x direction is 0, if no acceleration is present, which law will come? Newton's first law. And it is a consequence of that second law. From the second law we can derive the first law. From first law we can say that second law. These are the things present there. So that acceleration is 0. So that F external, whatever that external, that first law will say us that a body will continue in the same state until and unless an unbalanced external force is not applied on it. Okay, so that F external, whatever that no acceleration is present in that x direction, so that whatever that external force is acting on that mass m1 in x direction, that should be equals to 0, because acceleration is 0, so no external force should act on this. So we are saying that whatever the external force is acting on the mass m1 on x direction, that is equals to 0. Newton's first law. So from here, you guys will look that our n1 will come out, student, what? n1 will come out what? m1g. I have told you about this when the acceleration is not present, so that our reaction will be what? Equals to weight only. So these things you guys will keep in your mind. Next, student, what can we say? Suppose this m1 is equals to m1g. No acceleration is present, so they will get balanced out. Okay. So many will say that n1 will become balanced from this. Why? This is the reason behind that. And for block 1 we have seen, and when will we say that sum of the external forces in y direction should be equals to what? Mass times block 1 we are talking. X direction we have talked. Now we are talking in y direction. So thus F external in y direction should be equals to what, student? Mass times the acceleration of the body in y direction. Acceleration AY. So what are the external forces acting in this y direction, student? In y direction, only T1 is active. Not T1, I'm sorry. Only T is active. Only tension T is acting in y direction. Oh, I'm sorry, this has become wrong. This will be y direction, student. It will be not x direction. I'm so sorry. This will be our y direction. Okay, I'm sorry. At the place of x, now you can write y. You can assume that as well. Your x-axis, it's up to you. But for the sake, we are saying that it was our y direction. I'm sorry for that. Here we will say that x direction. In any way you can choose the coordinate. Here we are saying this one is that x and that one is our y. If I have written in that way in x, so that it will get changed, it should come to your mind. Okay. So it's the general representation, so that's why I have changed. Okay, so T1 will come out what? Mass m1, acceleration in y direction is present, that is equals to A, not y, x direction. Okay, I'm sorry, here it will be x. Okay, so this should be equals to T should be equals to what? m1 A. Once again I am recapitulating that when are we drawing the free body diagram of block 1, and we are saying that our coordinate is something like it. This is x axis, this one is our y axis we have chosen. So that F external in y direction should be equals to what? Mass times of the acceleration of the body. Newton's second law. So that acceleration in y direction is 0, so this right hand side will become 0, and it will become that first law, so no acceleration is present. So F external is what? N1 minus mg. N1 we are upside, we are saying positive. N1 minus m1g will become equals to what, student? Equals to 0. From here we will get N1 will be equals to m1g when are we talking about the y axis. And in the similar way we will say that vector sum of the external forces in x direction should be equals to what? Mass times of the acceleration of the body in x direction. So in x direction, what is the external force is acting on it? That is our T. And m1, that should be equals to what? Mass times the acceleration in x direction. Acceleration in x direction is your A only. So that will become m1 A. Any other thing is present for the block 1? I don't think any more thing is present here. Only this much of the thing will be there. So you guys will keep these things in your mind. It will become the, here we are applying the Newton's second law. Here we are applying the first law because acceleration is 0. Right, up to here. Now come for that inclined surface, student. Inclined surface is something like it. Okay, here M2 is present, block 2 is present. That FBD of 2 we are drawing. This is our M2 equation. It will become clear. This is our that we can say FBD 2 in. So mass will act in the downward direction, isn't it, student? What? M1G? No. M2G will come here. M2G due to the force due to gravity. That normal is acting in this direction. N2. Okay. Tension is acting in this direction. I have discussed these things. Okay. So T and the block is oscillating what, student? In downward direction. Okay. So student, I have told you that it is our inclined surface. It is our inclined surface. Is at the angle something equals to theta. So for that student, I have told you that if we are talking about any inclined surface, so we should resolve the forces along the direction of contact, along the direction of surface of contact, along the direction of surface of contact, and perpendicular along this side will become along, this side will become perpendicular, along the direction of surface of contact and perpendicular to the direction of surface of contact. So of course this one is our N2, which will be that at perpendicular to that contact surface. This M1G is acting in this direction. Okay, tension T is acting in this direction, and it is accelerating in this direction, downward direction. So of course, student, we will say that we want to resolve these forces along the direction of contact surface and perpendicular to the direction of contact surface. These things I have discussed to you in that previous video, I think. And student, I have also discussed that if this is our theta, so this will be also equals to theta. Why it will be equals to theta? You can go to that previous video. Otherwise, if it is known to you, and that is okay. So it is our theta present here. Okay, student. So I am removing for the time. So if this one is theta, so this one will be also theta. Why it will be there? I think I have told you. So student, we will resolve this M1G. Everything is present. N2 is present, perpendicular to the direction of contact surface. Tension is along the direction of contact surface. Only the M1G, M2G will come here. I am sorry. Between 1 and 2 I will get confused every time. That M2G is going to act here. M2G. So only this force due to the gravity is present, which is not at which is not either on that either along the contact surface or perpendicular to the contact surface. So only the force due to the gravity we are looking, it is not present either on that along the contact surface or perpendicular to the contact surface. So what can we do? We can say to we can resolve it to the perpendicular direction and along the direction. Isn't it, student? So I have told you this is the side where we are getting what? This is the side where are we getting 290 degrees or 290 degrees. So this will become what, student? M2G cos theta. Oh, I'm sorry. M2G cos theta will come in this direction. Yes, it's correct. And this side will come out M2G what? Sin theta. Getting it, student? M2, this one we will resolve this side, so M2G cos theta, and this side it is going to give us what? M2G sin theta. Okay? Okay. So, right up to here, then after we are talking. Look, student, that we guys will keep this point in our mind, that theta in this case, we will always consider from the perpendicular of the contact surface. No one will choose that theta from this along the contact surface. Always you guys will choose this theta from the perpendicular of that contact surface. So many of you can think to make the theta from here. No, it will become wrong. It will be always from the perpendicular of the contact surface. So these points you guys will keep in your mind. Again I am discussing this. Suppose we are getting this situation like this, student. We are having the mg here, and we want to resolve it perpendicular and in the horizontal direction, isn't? And it is the theta from the perpendicular of that contact surface. We will assume theta. Getting it, student? And when will we talk about this? So it is a kind of right angle triangle we will get. It is our 90 degree, isn't it, student? It will, that on this side the two angles will be formed, that will be called as our base, and this will become what, student? It will become perpendicular. PR I am writing perpendicular, or you can write P as well. So if I am talking about the cos theta, student, cos theta is what? Base upon hypotenuse. Base upon hypotenuse. So what can we say? Base will be what? Hypotenuse times what? Cos theta. And what is hypotenuse, student? mg cos theta. Getting? So on the base side, what are we getting? that m2g cos theta, isn't? And similarly we can say sin theta is what? Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So what can we say? Perpendicular will be what? Hypotenuse times sin theta. And what is hypotenuse? That m2g. You can write 2 here, m2g sin theta. m2 will also come here. Okay, so m2g sin theta we will get here. So this we have shifted here. Okay, we can shift the vectors. We will study in that vector chapter. So this perpendicular we are saying, so it is parallel to this. We can shift m2g sin theta. So please remember this. Otherwise you can do wrong. And one thing you will note that theta in this case we will always consider from the perpendicular of the contact surface. Okay, so write these things. This will be important to you. So we have resolved the forces along the contact surface and perpendicular to the contact surface. Next task will be to write the equations. So for that, students, suppose I am considering this as our x-axis, or you can say this one is our y-axis. It's up to you which one you are selecting, and this one is our x-axis. Okay, for the mass m2. So what can we say? That vector sum of the external forces. Suppose we are talking about the y direction. In y direction should be equals to what? Mass times the acceleration in y direction. So when we will look to the y direction, only m2g cos theta and n2 is acting here, isn't? So suppose we are saying that n2 is our upside is positive, so it will come out what? n2, and n2g sin theta will become cos theta will become what? Negative here, so n2g cos theta. And since it will come out 0, why? Because our ay is 0. No acceleration is present in that y direction. Any acceleration is there in y direction? No. So it will be the consequence of that first law. And from here, what will we get? That our n2 will become what, student? That n2g cos theta, isn't? Again and again I am saying this. Otherwise I can only say no acceleration is present in y direction. So our reaction will be equals to what? n2g cos theta. So it will get balanced when that no acceleration is present. So in y direction we are getting this. Okay. In the similar fashion we can say that what vector sum of that forces, external forces in what? X direction should be equals to what? Mass times the acceleration of the object in x direction. Newton's second law. So our mass m2 is accelerating downward here, student, isn't? So what are the F external acting here? In what? X direction. Okay. T and m2g sin theta is acting. T and m2g sin theta is acting only in that x direction. So it is that accelerating downward. So we can say that this side is our positive. Any side you can say as your positive. It's up to you. So it will become what? m2g sin theta. This we are selecting as positive. So minus of t will give us what? m2 times acceleration is in x direction is what, student? A. Okay. So from here we will get this equation. Okay. Right up to you. we have come to know what are the equations from that FDD diagrams. So suppose student, this one we are saying that our equation number 1, this one is our equation number 2. No use of these will come since that no acceleration is present there, though, so they will get balanced out. Okay, so 1 and 2 we are selecting this and saying that putting, it is not T1, I'm sorry, T. Putting tensions will be same. Okay, massless pulley. Putting the value of T from equation 1 in equation 2, what will we get, student? In equation number 2, that m2g sine theta minus of t, at the place of t what will we put? m2 m1a, that will be equals to what? m2 times a only. So from here, now we will send this m1a to the right side. This will give us m2a plus m1a. This will be that m2g sine theta here, and after that we can take a as common, so it will come out m1 plus m2. And from here, what will we get? That expression of that acceleration. Acceleration will become what? Acceleration will come out m2g sine theta upon m1 plus m2. m2g sine theta upon m1 plus m2. And of course, student, you can say putting A in equation 1, if you will put the value of A in equation number 1, so the tension T, you guys will get what? M1 times A. At the place of A, you can write M1, M2, G sine theta upon M1 plus M2. So we have come to know what is acceleration, what is tension. Acceleration will be same in both blocks, tension will be also same. Okay? So problem has been solved. So right up to you. Look, student, I was saying, suppose we are having a situation that fixed pulley is here. Okay, fixed pulley is present here, and this one is our mass M1, block of mass M1. This one is our block of mass M2. We can say M2 is present here. So if the problem is saying us to find the velocities and accelerations of the blocks, okay, blocks of mass M1 and M2, pulley is frictionless, massless, and it is fixed. The length of the string is not going to be changed. It is that inextensible string is inextensible. Length of that string is not going to change. We are not talking about anything about the tension right now. We are talking about the velocities and accelerations. We have talked about that tensions when we will consider the mass of the pulley. So that tension in the same string at different ends will be different, and whereas that for a massless pulley, the tension will be same at the different ends. So we want to talk about that acceleration and velocity. And I have told you that if the idea of that imagination is coming in your mind, that if it is going to travel some distance x, so the same distance it is going to travel, and differentiate that, velocities will come same, and again when you will differentiate, that acceleration will come same. So student, if that imagination is not coming in your mind, so what can we say in the other way, student? Choose a daughter method. Okay? Okay, bottom here. And whether n is present in that bottom or not, you can check. I think it is here. You can say that bottom, and you are fixing the coordinate here. Fixing the coordinate here, and suppose you are saying this one is our y-axis and this one is our x-axis. Okay. And after this, choosing the bottom, suppose we are saying this one is our student what distance y1. Okay, this one is our y1 distance, and from here the distance of that string, suppose I am saying that y2, and this length of that string is not going to be changed when it will rotate. This length is not going to change. This will remain same, or we can say that this is our length of that pulley. Length of string on that pulley. Whatever that part of that string is going to come on that pulley, again and again this will come and it will be the constant. So since that string is inextensible, let capital L is the total length of string. Total length of string. So this total length will be equals to what, student? y1 plus y2 plus this what? LP. What LP is representing? LP is representing what? Length of string on pulley. Length of string on pulley. So this is the total length we will get, isn't y1 plus this LP distance plus y2. It is the length we will get. And since the string is inextensible, so total length is going to be remain constant, isn't inextensible? The meaning is that total length constant. Total length constant. So what can we do? Differentiating with respect to time. Differentiating with respect to the time. So when you will differentiate it with respect to the time, dl upon dt will become what? dy1 upon dt plus dy2 upon dt plus dlp upon dt. Isn't? Now I am rubbing outside. So you can say this much of the part is rubbed. And look, student, L is constant. L is constant. Length of the string is not going to be remain changed. Is not going to be changed. So that differentiation of constant I have told you that will be equal to what? 0. So this term will become what, student? This term will become 0. So this one will become 0 here. And what is dy1 upon dt? It will become what? That velocity. Velocity. So this will become what? Velocity of this mass m1. It is at the distance of y1, whatever distance it is that going to change, that will with respect to the time, that will give us what? Velocity. So v1 will come here plus dy2 dt will give us what? Velocity of that block 2, and this term will also become 0. This will be also equals to 0. Plus 0 you will say, plus 0 here you will say, and you can say since the length of string, I am coming downside as well. Length of string on pulley that which we are denoting by LP will be always constant. Always constant. The meaning is that the same length we will get. No, it is not going to change. This whatever rotation will take place in that pulley, that LP, that the length of that LP is not going to be changed. It will be same. Whereas Y1 and Y2 can change, isn't it, student? Y1 and Y2 can change when that pulley will rotate, but LP will remain same. LP will remain same. So that we will say as our 0. Differentiation of constant thing will become equals to 0 only. Getting it, student? And from here, what are we getting? That our V1 will be equals to what? Minus times of the velocity. Meaning is that velocity of blocks will be same but in opposite direction. Getting? Next, what can we say? Up to here you can have the screenshot. After that I am going to rub all it. So we have seen that our velocities are coming same. It is the other way of saying. Otherwise it will become finished that whatever distance it is going to travel, the same distance it will travel. If you are not imagining that one, so that I am telling to you that mathematically. So V1 we are getting what? Minus times of V2. So what? Velocity of the blocks will be same but in opposite direction. So what can you say? Again differentiating what with respect to time. So what you will get? Del V upon V1 upon del T will become minus times of V del V2 upon del T. So from here what you will get? What? A1 will be what? Minus times of that A2. Meaning is that acceleration of the blocks will be same but in opposite directions. Okay, opposite directions. Enough for today. Thank you all.